Okay, this I think should be the last video, and this is the video that you're going to want to watch pretty much when you receive this file, because I've been operating with less than necessary information, meaning I needed more information to get it better, but you have that information and it's already Christmas. So I need to get this file to you, and you're going to have to do this part on your own. When you get your file, the parts that are not going to be actually correct is probably going to be your student list. It's probably going to be your class list, and then your Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesday, Thursday class schedule. I have been in here tinkering, making fake scenarios for the tutorials for you. So when you get your file, the first thing I want you to do is open your student data. Make sure that you have the correct class names at the correct times. Manually enter those in if you want. You could also copy from your file and paste the values in. Just be careful that you have the correct times for each of those classes. I'm not sure, exactly what it is anymore, since the file that I've been working in is actually older than the one that we had talked about in September. So please check that first. So check your class titles, then check your class times. All right. I do believe these automatically change color based on the text that are in here. We'll copy and we will just paste over here some values just to test that out. Bingo. So there's already formatting in here. So if the coloring looks off as it does down here on Tuesday, Thursday, that means that some of your class times might be off as well. If you don't need these two classes down here, control minus these rows and subtract them out. It's going to be up to you as to what you do. Your grade list is probably fine, but moving on this way, when you edit your student data, you do not need to edit row F, column F. This is all formula. You want to keep that there. What I do recommend you do is in your old file, copy all of this. Copy all of this, and then into this file, just click here and then paste values, and it should spread it all over. You might get an error saying, hey, this class that you have here, it doesn't match this list here. So that's okay. You'd have to work around that. Maybe only copy these 3 columns and then go back through and manually add them by class. But you're going to need to update this student data page, I think, on your own. On the videos that I've just finished uploading, I do go into refreshers about how to do that. So if you feel rusty, go ahead and watch that. It will be helpful, I promise. So that's the first thing, student data. The second thing you need to do is the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesday, Thursday schedule. I've been in here a lot. I've been unhiding things, set it back up the way you wanted to, but go through and make sure that you have the correct classes showing at the correct times, because again, I've been tinkering in here, making up fake data just to have the demo for you. And obviously, if you have a class with a question mark, go ahead and delete that and hide the columns that you don't want to use. Do the same thing for your Tuesday, Thursday spreadsheet. Hide whatever you don't want to see. Make sure that you have the right teachers at the right time. Make sure that, if there's no class, delete the teacher, because that's not helpful. That poor teacher will feel stressed out. So that is what you do need to do. So that was student data, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday. Then I recommend jump to your calendar. Jump to your calendar and you can just double check that, your file has all of 2024. You're very welcome. It's because I love you guys. This is going to save you time. I'm just assuming that you've been really busy because I haven't gotten your other data. So this is prepared for you based on our previous conversations. There is video talking about this, about how to use it, about how to use it next year. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you watch it. Open the dates file. This is also very important. Taking care of the dates for the future year is so important to be able to print out a homework checklist. So I prioritize that. Watch the videos. The data that I use in the video is for 2025. So when you are doing this next year on your own, go ahead and watch that video. It'll walk you through it. However, just look at things for now and just be comfortable as to what sheets you're going to keep open and using and what sheets you're going to hide. Once you have decided that, oh, I'm satisfied with all these dates, hide that tab. You know what? I've printed the calendar for, everyone at the school, printed it. I'm done. No one else needs that. Hide it. That way we don't accidentally delete anything. Thumbs up. I didn't. You have to do this. When you are done entering data for thumbs up, hide the tab. How to do this is on a video, so you can watch it. But when you are finished adding the thumbs up curriculum, hide the class books page. There's one hiding that I didn't open up here. Go ahead, that. When you are finished creating lesson plans for the thumbs up or any other new book and teachers are done typing those in, go ahead and hide your master LP data. At this point, you have pretty much what you would be using all the time. There's one more thing I want to unhide and discuss. Your checklist. That's what I want. Back here for a second. You're going to be using your student data Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, lesson plan and attendance, pretty much every single month. You're going to be in this data. Keeping this data fresh is actually going to save you time. Even if it feels like you're using time every month, I promise you're going to save time on miscommunication with teachers, misordering books. You're going to save a lot of frustration just by having accurate data all the time. So keep up with it. Teachers class list, you're probably going to use this only right before March, like the end of February, and also anytime you're training in a new teacher. So I wouldn't need that very much. Your yearly book list, once you finish this and you've posted and printed it, you're probably not going to need to look at it anymore. You're probably just going to maybe check with it with your monthly book list, but after you've already made a plan as to, whether or not a class is going to do pre-build up for 2 months or 3 months, as we had talked about in a scenario in one of the movies. Once you have that in your mind mentally prepared for it, you typically will remember it the next year when you make your year at a glance. So, and then you would actually be like marking that in there. So when you do your monthly book list and they finished their test dates, it kind of feels natural just to go to the next level, especially since you'll have already updated all this data under the student data list. So I think probably you're only going to check the yearly book list when you have an awkward schedule or maybe the beginning of each semester. Maybe, I think. So that's also an option to close and hide that. So your teachers are probably going to be needing access to your student data if they need to update an English name for you. If you don't want them to touch it, hide it also. The schedule is pretty helpful to have open, but your teachers certainly definitely need the lesson plan, the homework checklist and lesson plan. So I would definitely do that for them and keep it open. And we don't have that there. There we go. Yes, and so there's videos about how to do that, and if you have questions, certainly send them my way. But now, lastly but not least, the checklist. This is suggested. This is not like required, but I strongly recommend keeping the order of operations. Otherwise, things will go wrong. but you don't have to do it like week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. You could do everything in week 1 if you wanted. However, in general, the password to unprotect the sheets is going to be SLP, all caps. The only one that I'm putting a private password on is the calendar page, and only over the formulas. It shouldn't affect you that much at all, but it's there so that it's it's because it's complicated. But anyway, that one will stay protected as much as they can get it there. You can use this. Teachers can use this QR code to watch the YouTube tutorials that I've made on their phones, or if they want, they can click this link up here for using the computer that they're accessing this particular file on. But now let me draw your attention to the order of operations for your tasks, whether it's you or a teacher you delegate. But typically, once the session is started, you want to make sure that your student data list is updated. If there's any new students, get them added. Even if it's just their Korean name in class, get them added. And then make sure that your schedule Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday are updated. Like refresh those classes if they've gone from 2.2 to 2.3 so that the students show. Once you can see that all the students are showing, print it off, put it on the board. Once it's on the board, you're going to start changing for the future month. So whatever you have in the computer is actually going to be a month ahead, and what's on the board is current. So once you have printed that schedule sheet, maybe you want a couple copies just in case people want to write on things, you're going to start updating the student data to the next session, which is the classes. Change the classes first. Then you go to the student list and you change the classes next to the student's name. Then you update the class schedule again, so that when you are in the computer system, everything's going to be ready to print next time. It's also going to be ready to help you do your book list. All right. Because you can't really get your book list ready unless all the classes and the students are updated early. It's not going to tell you books for New High Kids 2.4. You need to have it already saying 3.1. So in order to get your book list done on time, you need to have next month updated on time. All right. So, and that's exactly what this purple font is all about. You can double check your yearly book lists to make sure everybody's on track. It's a great way to make sure that everybody knows, yeah, you are supposed to be writing journals or diaries. You have the option to, darken that out on the monthly book list if it's something you've already communicated about. But this is the time where spontaneously, if there were any new classes created and teachers you don't have a break time there now you have a class, this is like when it needs to happen, and that they have also a list of the class books that they need to prepare their lesson plan and to teach from. So getting your monthly book list for ordering is great, but it's also helpful so that teachers who are opening classes or starting a new class are prepared and equipped for that also. And when you print the book list, definitely ask every teacher every time, get your books early so that you can tell me if I don't have a book for you. Like, you need to make sure you have the teacher's books, and they should communicate that to you. But in order for them to do that, they need to have that book list early also. So that's why I have it in for week 3, because by the time you hit week 4, they're already in test mode. So all right, week 4, obviously test week. This is also, you go back to the students from the beginning of the month that were new and they didn't have an English name. You want to go to the board and make sure that their teacher has written their name in so that you can update it. Or you can assign the teacher, to update the student data themselves and make sure that that is, showing in the system. Because when you open the schedule, you can see whether or not they have an English name. Maybe there were a couple days that SLP was closed because of COVID or something like that. Verify, whether or not you guys have decided to change a test date or something. Anything that needs to be updated for dates would be under dates and calendar, but theoretically, just kind of roll with it. But there's videos how to edit that too. And then last, if there's any new teachers, print that teacher's class list. Okay, I really do think that is everything. And